All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome. It's Reflections with Val. And of course, we have another guest that we have on the hot seat. And I'm excited as well to show you guys who this person is. He has been following my platform and I have been following his. But without further ado, I'm going to let him introduce himself. So go right ahead.
What's up, world? My name is Anthony J. I'm from Hillside, New Jersey. And yeah, I mean...
Hillside, New Jersey.
Hillside, you know what I mean? 07205, y'all know how I go.
All right. So for those who don't know what you do, inform them and plug them in and what you are all about and what do you do?
So basically, I'm a personality. I consider myself a personality. I have a podcast called Not That Podcast.
Follow it.
Oh, for sure. You know what I mean?
Okay, let them know where. Yeah.
You could follow at Not That Podcast on Instagram. You know what I mean? You go, it's Anthony J. My Instagram name is actually connected to my website. So my website is anthonyj.com. So basically, it's anthonyj.com. I highlight artists. I highlight entertainers. I highlight Black culture as well. We just implemented that. It's a segment called Black Wisdom. So basically, I interview people through Zoom. Smart, intelligent, dope, just Black people, like Spanish, Black, the whole.
No, yeah, we're all in it.
Yeah, we all in it,
Yeah.
But I interview them and we talk about just the truth, stuff that's
dropping gems.
You see, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Dropping gems.
That's why I wanted to have you on. I remember he hit me up. He was like, "So how do I get on this show?
Yeah,
like, what's
for real.
up?"
She's the truth. You feel me?
I love it too because I have seen that space that you guys use for Not That Podcast.
Mm-hmm.
That space I've seen it before. Other people use it as well. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
That's why I was like, wait a minute, like this is the same podcast or a different one, but I like it. It's based on entertainment, based on realness, like he said, and highlighting other artists and other creatives, just as this, and I that's why I wanted to bring him in. So, without further ado, let's reflect. Let's talk about your background, how this all started, like what made you, be inspired to tell other people's stories to begin with.
I just love entertainment. I love dope. I love people. Like, I always been a people person.
Right.
And I always made, like, visuals. I always made, like, I was always creative, right? Since I was, like, 11 years old. So I used to, like, go on. This is when, like, you had, like, a laptop or like, a regular computer. And I used to go on, like, Windows Movie Maker. Okay. You remember that?
Windows Movie Maker? Not really, though.
It's like Windows Movie Maker was, like... The
iMovie of
Mac. Exactly. So I used to make videos on that. Like, I used to crack on people in school, and people used to like it. You know what I mean? So it used to be called the Anthony J Show. So in the summertime, like before school started, I used to just crack on everybody. I used to go to school with. That way, everybody get hyped going to school the next year. So it was pretty dope.
Yeah, that's how it started.
Yeah, that's how it started. So I got I was very comfortable with talking to people. But as much as I like talking to people, I like to be to myself. So I'm not a very talkative person.
So you're like in this cross fusion of introvert, extrovert.
Exactly. I'm like
in
the middle. Right. Yeah.
So how do you even balance that? Like when you talk, when you have to talk to people and you don't feel like it, like how do you even?
I don't even know. Like I just like if I have to talk to somebody, I just talk to them. I don't have to talk to them too much. I get to the point and then I get out the point. Like I get in and get out. You know what I mean? But right. I don't. I'm not a very talkative person at all. It's weird because in this industry you got to be talkative and you got to connect and I do all that, but. Right. I like to be. I'm a Virgo. You know what I'm saying? So we're very. Oh my God, analytical.
Virgos! I've had horrible experiences with Virgos.
Oh God! Now I just ruined the relationship that we were getting ready to build. You know what I mean?
No. It's okay. I respect Virgos. But yeah, it's just like there's that one guy or those three guys. You know what I mean? That I.
Nah, I feel you. Virgos is very. Yeah. We're very, you gotta.
You guys are very particular and
exactly.
organized,
right?
And blase.
We think a lot,
but that comes in handy with the position and the profession that you have now, because a lot of people who are news personalities or TV media personalities overthink on what they should talk about, that they have it so cookie cutter,
right,
within the hour or whatever time they have to speak. It's just like you could just tell that the pressure of keeping this image is on them, and it's like. Relax.
Yeah, you gotta relax, especially and you gotta relax. So,
you are natural. Like I don't get that vibe off you. Like you have to keep up something, and he's
nah,
this is
that's not me. Yeah, it's just me. I just like I said, I love people, so I don't have a problem
So you were 11 years old when you started like talking to people, or
I was 11-year-old when I got interested in it. Like when I got interested in just media, and then when I started interviewing people, I think I was right after high school, so like 18. I was like 18 when I started like interviewing people. My first really dope interview was with this artist. His name was Mark Barino. He was from like Nutley, but he was dope.
Really?
And I went to his house and I interviewed him, and it was dope. It went real dope. And then after that, that's when I'm like, I like doing this. But to be honest with you, I used to work for this company called Street Life Studios, and Street Life Studios was in Hoboken, and they are the ones who allowed me to interview. Like they would come in, they'll do like, let's say they'll have a DJ come in, do his visuals, right? They'll do his visuals, and they'll be like, you want to interview him? You know, or they'll have like a model come in, right? And then they would do her photo shoot and do like behind the scenes. And they'll be like, you want to interview him? So then that's when I was like, I really like doing this. And then
you like interviewing because of what reason specifically?
I like interviewing because I like knowing how you became who you are. I like knowing why you do certain things. You know, why are you so creative? How do you feel being creative? What made you do this? That's why I like it, because it's like I get to enter into the world of somebody.
Yes, that's so true. I love that too about interviewing people, because you don't realize what comes out. It's kind of like a magician with a magic trick hat.
Right, exactly.
It's kind of like you ask, what's in the hat? And then he brings something else, and it's like, there's more stuff. And
I didn't even know that.
Stuff.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
You're so right.
So that's why I love it, because it's like, you get to really figure out how dope. And that's why I never wanted to be like the person that would be like a gossiper. You know, I never wanted to do. Talk about it. I never want to do that for real, because I love people too much to try to mess up relationships. You know what I mean? So I'd rather highlight the positive in people rather than their downfalls. So, yes.
So you don't conspire or talk, or even if someone were to try to come up to you with that energy, you just be like,
Yeah, I just be like, nah, chill. Now, if it's a story, you know what I'm saying? Like, if it's a story, like, for example, somebody was like, how do you feel about R. Kelly? Just, just an example.
Yeah,
then, of course, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't have the big enough platform right now for him to hear what I said about him. So, of course, I'm going to, talk my talk. You know what I mean? But other than that, I'm not going to, like, if it's somebody local, like in Jersey, I'm not going to be like, oh, he's trash. Did you hear what he did with so-and-so? You know what I mean? Like, nah, that's no.
Did you hear what he was doing? Yes. So, like, nah, you're like a devil's advocate. So would you say that you kind of have like this gift of empathy and sympathy for others because of this?
I do.
Ooh.
I do.
Isn't that like a double-edged sword, though? Because it's so much sympathy in your life with other people, because I am that way, where it's like that has burned me, because I've just been like, I understand, because you came from this background.
Yeah. Nah, it is, because you feel bad for everybody, you know what I'm saying, and everybody don't deserve to be, felt bad for. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, it is a double-edged sword, as you said, but I don't know, I can't help it. It's like I try to help. It's like, I just can't, but let's say somebody was like, I knew that this person was in controversy and the people wanted to know about their controversy. Of course, I'm going to bring it up, you know what I mean? But I'm not going to go into the interview in attack mode. You know what I mean?
Like why did you bring that?
Yeah,
like, interrogation
exactly.
See, right? that would be me. I'd be the one to be like, interrogation mode is on.
That's the lawyer right there. You know what I mean? For real.
I just want to figure out the truth. That's just my thing. It's like, I just want to get down to your roots.
For sure.
And I want to know what made you become the person that you are today. Not excuses. Not, I couldn't make it because, abandonment father, abandonment mother. Let me tell you. I've been there too. And I think there's a lot of people out there that started from the ground and build an empire having that same background.
Fact.
Whitney, Oprah. Oprah. Oh my gosh. You know what I mean? Like, she got fired at her news reporter job at 23. Didn't know where the hell she was going to go. And then look, she oops, what the heck was that? She found,
he was happy.
yeah, like I know. And then she found like, her thing. She found this new show, this new program. She probably was starting in the garage, for crying out loud, or somewhere in the corner. That's how Amazon started, in the garage.
Facts.
That's
no,
how
for
Disney
real. Now,
started.
I think I'm gonna start my next venture in the garage, because everything that started in the garage seems to blow.
Yeah, like even the Jonas Brothers, for crying out loud, they were from New Jersey. Mm-hmm. Like they probably were practicing in their garage, for crying out loud.
Yeah, they definitely was practicing.
Like year 2000, whatever that 3000 thing was. Like I literally was like, they had to record this in their backyard or something.
So you was a Jonas Brothers fan?
No.
I
definitely wasn't. A lot of people around me were, but I like knowing a lot of artists that come from Jersey. So like that's my thing. Too. And I like to know like which artist right now from Jersey is relevant, because like there's no one really reps Jersey
right
in the industry. So like I want to know, like why not? Like I know Lauryn Hill came from Jersey.
Right.
Like,
right. Yeah. Right. Queen Latifah. Right.
Queen Latifah. But the last person to shine from Jersey that we know is Fetty Wap, bro. And then Two Surf right now, he's up and coming.
Two Surf?
Yeah,
for sure.
You know what I'm saying? He's making Jersey proud.
He is.
But outside of that, like, I don't know.
We have like a handful. Like
we have
probably one hand. Right?
Probably like a handful of underground. We have a lot of underground, and I respect all of the underground artists. I really do. But what are we going to do to come up with this name that now Jersey artists are now a highlight? And it's not just New York or Cali. Like that's where I want to get to. And I think that's going to take a lot of us to like
for sure.
Put aside our pride, put aside our differences, and be like, let's work together.
Why do you think? I don't know why. See, I'm asking you questions.
Go ahead.
Now, but I don't care.
No, go ahead.
Why do you think we should, like, do you think that we have a hard time just coming together? Like, do you think that's like our super big issue as to why, like?
Hell yeah, definitely.
So like, what do you think is like the media's problem? Like, do you think it's the artist? Like, how do we fix this? Like, we have to be able to fix this.
I think it's the pressures of everything. I think the pressures of media, the pressures of society. And like this whole grand scheme thing of like making it big.
Right.
Every single underground artist is just in that mindset that they'll just do whatever they can to make it big. Certain underground artists are like the vampire energies, like they take, they're the ones who aren't really good energies to be around. And I feel like the people who are willing to try anything that they could to emulate another person that's up and rising, those are those people who aren't really genuine or real about what they got to focus on, what they have to improve on. And instead of them focusing on what they have to improve on or that they have to do, they come in the way of someone else's bag and prevent that, because you and I are not from the same area in Jersey. You're from Perth Amboy and I'm from Paterson. I'm only going to rep my Paterson artists.
Yeah, that's true.
And it's like that's automatically creating that separation, because it's like we're all from Jersey. It doesn't matter where you're from in Jersey, right? So why can't we just, if he's from Perth Amboy and he came from Jersey, cool, rise him up. Maybe if him and I do a feature, maybe we'll both rise up and get acknowledged together.
Exactly.
But that's not there, because it's like, oh, what if I be a feature on this guy's track? He's going to try to take my verse, or he's going to try to take my thing. And it's like, it doesn't be like, it's like, it's only us. Like,
it's only us.
Also, like seeing so many other artists doing big moves on Instagram can kind of slow down an insecure artist. Because here I am trying to make something for myself, and I'm trying to do my little songs, but then I'm seeing this homegirl over here, she popping, she posting like she was in a photo shoot this day, she was in this that day. Right. Why should I even try? What's the point? You're comparing now to the socials, and that's another like no-go. You should not compare. Like, you should be confident in your delivery, you should believe what you're saying, and you don't care what anybody has to say. And I feel like a lot of us millennials are missing that. We're starting something. Oh, I think it's a good idea. I think this is what I like. Let me see how far it goes. And then it's going to fail because you don't have that passion. Where is it? You're trying to emulate and be other things that you like because they're attracting.
Facts.
Or they have that attention, that you wish or yearned for. But you're only going after that. You're not going after the passion. And that's what people see behind your work. They don't see the passion. And that's why they're not going to support or vibe with you like that.
Exactly.
Because, like, you're putting on a show. You're putting on this image. And you only want to be the forefront because, of whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I feel like that's a lot of the things that's going on in the underground scene in Jersey and why we haven't even had a come up in a minute.
Facts.
And I feel like that guy, the rapper I said, Susurf, he doesn't mind repping Jersey. Like,
nah, he definitely does.
He be on Funkmaster Flex and he's like, Jersey, you know what I'm saying? Before he even goes on a freestyle.
For sure.
Like, that's
he
love.
lets it be known, yeah.
But there's other artists that are from Jersey and they come up and they're like, nah, I'm from New York.
Yeah, I'm from New York, yeah.
So, like, we won't ever really know because they always claim New York, you know what I mean? But whatever. One day we'll get there. No rush. Because I'm trying to be something out here.
For real. I want to make my name in Jersey. Like, I love Jersey. I'm born and raised. Like, I love New Jersey. And we got so much talent. I feel like we need an award show. That would be dope.
Right. Did we... I don't know about hip hop like that, so I'm assuming you do. But didn't like the Sugar Hill Gang come from Jersey?
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, they came from Jersey. You know,
come on.
Method Man, Red Man. We have like legacy in Jersey.
Yes.
Then you got the Whitney Houston, obviously. Like, you know, rest in peace.
She was from East Orange, right?
Yeah, I think. Dang. I don't want to quote.
East Orange and Newark. It was one of them.
One of them. I think it was East. I don't know. I gotta relook. I should. I should know that about. But, no,
yeah, I'm trying to. Whitney Houston, man, in her prime, she was the same way. She and Nina Simone and any of the people that actually sing with meaning.
Yeah.
Those kind of singers, they're very rare. Very rare. Like, you could just, as soon as they open their mouth, you feel it. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
Dang. Rest in peace to Whitney. I can't.
Legends, man. They leaving here.
I mean, speaking of legends, when you grew up in your childhood in Hillside, what kind of music did your family like expose you around?
Everything. Like, I'm being dead serious because I had everything, really. All right, so my dad is in the church, so gospel, right?
Okay.
And then my gospel game is crazy. But gospel, then I had an older brother and sister, hip hop. My brother was a Jay-Z, Biggie, all the New York rappers. Like, he liked West Coast, but he was really like Nas, Prodigy, you know what I mean? All of them, Tribe Called Quest. He exposed me to the culture of hip hop, you know what I mean?
Word, respect.
And then my mom, she liked pretty much like all the 70s, 80s, you know, 60s, 50s. Well, no, not 50. That's too old. My mom not that old. But like the 5 Heartbeats, she put me on movies like that. Yes. Temptations. You know, I was a big Jackson 5 fan. I think I'm the biggest Michael Jackson fan that I know. Period.
Do you know all his songs? Because I was pretty much heavy into it.
Come on, you trying to test me? Like, what you mean? What you mean?
Like, I know all of them too. What's up?
I know. I do know all of Mike's songs, really. All his albums. I think I had all his albums.
Like, the ones that no one knew was like the Earth
song. That's my song. The Earth song, yeah.
That's like the album that everyone pretty much forgot about.
That's like the history album.
That's the
Yeah, that's my joint. That's when he was in like the woods or whatever in the music video.
It's like those random songs that you forgot. You're like, oh damn, I forgot you sang this. You know what I'm saying? Like,
for real.
Stranger in Moscow is one of those.
That's
too.
my favorite song, actually.
Jam too. Jam
was dope.
People forget about.
But they definitely forget about that. But Stranger in Moscow, Remember the Time will always be a classic. But like, yes. Stranger in Moscow was dope. Yeah. And then Ghost too.
Oh, when Ghost came out, bro, that was like
tough, yeah.
Oh my God. Every child was hyped on Halloween when that song came
out. It was,
out.
I was hyped because I remember that was on VH1. Because
you saw the skeleton just like moonwalking.
It was moonwalking, doing all Michael Jackson. Yeah. That's a ghost. Yeah. You was about to sing it. I know you can sing. You feel me? Like, I heard you sing on Instagram.
Yes, I am. You know I've been singing for years. I love it.
So is that something else that you do, or you just do it for?
No, that's definitely one thing. That's my heart, my passion. I don't know. For a long time, I doubted it for a long time because there's a lot of singers out there that claim that they have it. And I was brought up in Patterson in a minority area where I didn't have a lot of fortunate things. So I always settled for the less of unfortunate because I was so used to that place.
Right.
That I took that on into my adulthood that now I'm just like, nah, like I could do this. Word. I could do all this. I don't have to shrink myself in this box and work like I'm like, you know, like getting a cart in or a box of mashed potatoes just to last you for a week. That's how I was basically doing it with my passion and everything in life. I was like, what am I doing?
Can't do that.
Right. It's like I was shrinking and dimming my light and I didn't notice. So, you know, now with singing, I kind of want to take it to the next level. I don't want to I've been doing covers. I've been doing a lot of songs, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But I want to get more into my originals, because my school and my colleges where I went to, I always had to learn a song. Always had to learn a repertoire with my vocal instructor and everything. Always had to know what I was going to do, legato, staccato, all this and all that.
Oh, so you know music. Like you. Yeah, that's great.
It's crazy. I've been trained from high school to college, like vocal instructor after vocal instructor. I even went to NG-PAC intensive, stuff like that. And I was taught by the best, I feel. Like Mr. Kennedy went to NG-PAC. He is so good. He's a gospel instructor, number one.
Always the best singers.
Always the best singers. And he was just this big guy. Now he lost all the weight. But back then he was this
sing
big
like he
guy.
used to?
He could still sing.
Sometimes. Never mind.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about. Sometimes it's that chubbiness and them rolls and got that soul.
Yeah, for real.
Shout out to you guys, because you do powerhouses. No, but like he had a powerhouse, bro.
That's tough.
He could be in a whole cathedral and not have a mic.
That's tough.
And you would still hear his voice from like the altar to like the outside. He got me to like my 6 to 7 octave range, which was like pretty huge for a singer, because that's basically like close to Whitney Houston's range. Actually, it is. You know what I mean? So like I was like shocked that I could even hit that. I remember crying after like the intensives were done and like my vocal training was up for like the 4-month, and I was just like, wow. He was like, I told you can do it. You were the one doubting yourself the whole time, bitch.
Stop doubting yourself. Are you still doubting yourself?
Still, till this day, I do, but I'm now trying to not do that. And this is why I decided to come out with reflections, because I do this thing where I self-reflect. And when I self-reflect, guys, I don't just self-reflect on the past. I self-reflect on the present and what I could do in the present that's going to better my future.
Right.
What habits am I taking on now? You know, it's okay to be aware of your habits. And like, I feel like my habit was the doubting myself. And then the root cause of it was the fact that I dealt with neglection growing up. So that is what I feel tied down to like the whole, let me just ignore myself or ignore my needs and put everyone else's in the front. So I've always done that as a person who likes to ask questions and has empathy and sympathy for most. Until like one year I was like, you know what, which was last year, I said it's time for me. I still care, but it's time for me to not be afraid to speak up and have a voice for those who may be weary or who need it.
Facts.
And that's why I like to bring new people every time, because I like to stress the fact that it's not about me. I'm just hosting it, but it's basically your story that I'm highlighting on the show, because maybe there's someone out there that had your story and has the same ambitions and dreams but never did anything with it.
Facts.
And because of their circumstances or their crack addicted mom or whoever it was, but they can listen to this and they can be like, oh my goodness, someone out there has my story and they still did it against the odds. I can do this. Yeah. And that's why I'm doing it, because I don't want someone to just like be in this pit and just keep going and going. Like there's a way out.
Oh, for sure.
And even in faith, if you have your faith too, like I don't know, like go ahead, go crazy.
For sure.
So like growing up too now with you having your kids and everything.
Yeah.
I know you have kids.
Yeah.
So growing out 10 years old, out of the high school years, you started doing the show.
Facts.
How long after that, when did you start actually legit saying, you know what, I'm going to do a show and I'm going to do a YouTube channel and everything? When was that age and that time before your kids come into the factor?
So I was about, after high school, I was probably like 20. But I didn't know if I really wanted to do a show. I just knew I was going to utilize YouTube, and I just wanted to interview people. Like at this time, I'm not sure how big podcasting was, right? So I'm like, I don't have nothing else. Like, this is what I want to do. Like, people ask me, like, you didn't want to be a doctor or a lawyer? No, I didn't. Like, I had hoop dreams when I was younger. You know what I mean? Like, my whole family played basketball. Yeah. Everybody has hoop dreams, right? Like, every time you hear somebody.
I didn't want to be a doctor either.
No.
To be honest, if I were to pick a profession, I would do the military.
Yeah, me too. But that's like, you know, it's crazy. Me and my friend. Yeah. But actually, he's my brother. I don't call him my friend. I knew him since like we were kids, so he's my brother. So anyway, we supposed to go to Army together, he went to Afghanistan. He's in Alaska right now.
So he's in the Army right now.
Yeah, we supposed to go together, but I chickened out. Yeah.
Wow,
shout out to my boy Freddie. Yeah, because I was like,
did you chicken out after training or before training?
Nah, I chickened out before I even called anybody. Like it was like a yo, all right, we're going. This is what we're gonna do. But my thing was I didn't want to go to war. I didn't want to go to like overseas. I didn't want to do none of that. I'm just like, nah, chill. I'm not ready for that. I'm not built for that life. I already knew what I was built for. He was gun ho. He didn't care. You know, he's just like, yo, I'm gonna do this. Boom. He didn't care about flying. None of that. He was cool.
And he's in the Army.
Yeah, he's in the Army. He's really high ranked. He's like some type of officer, but he's also an Apache pilot. So he's a pilot too. So a shooter. What do you call it? The shooter pilot guy.
Yeah,
he shoots all the people.
That's crazy. If I could think of choosing a ranker, I would do Air Force.
That's what my sister did.
Okay,
you
got militant people in your family.
Yeah. Oh yeah, my whole family's military. My grandfather was there. My cousin. He's a cop in Baltimore now. He was there. So, yeah, everybody in my family pretty much. So,
your sister's in Air Force. And what does she do?
She does communications. I don't know exactly what she does, but it has to do with communications. Like, has a really important job, but I just don't know what it is. She works for the government, but I just don't know exactly what it is.
That's interesting. That gives me hope.
Why, you trying to go in the Air Force?
I'm thinking about it, but I'm 27. I don't know what the cutoff age is.
You should be good. I don't think I don't think you have nothing to worry about as far as the cutoff. You ain't like 40, you know, like that. You know.
You ain't like 40.
Nah, you're not 40.
No, I thought it was like 30. So I was like, almost
I don't
getting
know.
there.
Is it?
I don't know.
I was 27. You got 3 more years to find out.
3 more years, but that's like we just said, traveling overseas and doing all that.
Yeah, it's over for that for me.
You were like, go ahead, buddy.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah. It was he just did because he lived in PA, right? So it was different. Like he had to do that. He didn't want to be in PA no more. So it was like, all right, this is my way out of PA. So he decided to, do his thing.
Sorry.
Oh, now you good. That's what superstars do. They got their phone on and everything like that.
No, I'm gonna just silence it because I don't get nobody calling me.
The lies, man. The lies.
I mean,
you know what I mean?
I try not to. You know what I'm saying? I try
for sure.
But excuse the interruption. Going back. So yeah, you were saying. So then you went. Oh, you said what year was it that you took it serious?
I was about 20. I don't even know what year that was.
Oh, you were 20.
Yeah. Okay.
So you were 20 years old.
Yeah, I was 20 years old,
and then you had that opportunity. You turned it down, and you continued to pursue.
Yeah, I could have went to the Army, but I continued to my passions. Right, my family was big on like just knowing what you want to do in life. Like, who cares what? Just know if it's college, if it's trade, if it's whatever. Just know what it is. Just know what it is and go hard with it. But my problem was, so at this time, I met my wife at this time, right? And at this time, I'm being in love, right? So I'm in love, right? And then we have a baby. So then after we have a baby, I'm still in love. I'm like, dang, I want to do it the right way. I get married. So now that I'm married.
Oh, wow. So you're married and you have a child.
Yes.
At the age of?
My oldest son is 7. So I guess like 20. This was like the same around the same time. 20. Yeah. I had a crazy, it was wild. So anyway, I got married or whatever. And then at this time, it's like, all right, now I got to be a man. So now I'm not just worried about me now. I have my son that's going to be born, and I have my wife. So now it's like I started taking jobs, just doing whatever, right? And I started losing faith in what I wanted to do because I had responsibility. So now I'm like, how am I going to do what I want to do and then support my family like I'm supposed to? So I was working like 50, 60, 70 hours a week.
Wow.
Exactly. And it stopped.
Where were you working? Just jobs that you could pick up? Didn't matter?
Warehouse jobs.
Okay.
Warehouse jobs, which I liked anyway. A lot of people think that's weird, like you like warehouse, but I like working with. If anything, if I was to go to school, it would be in supply chain management. So I like stuff like that. But I was working in the warehouse, and I'm like, yo, this can't be life. This can't be like life. Like it can't. Yeah,
it was a mundane routine. I bet you walking in, going to the same building, clocking in, clocking out.
Right. And with warehousing, it's like you have no freedom. Like you literally have like get to work, they're on you like you're in jail. Like that's how it is. Like they make sure you take your lunch, better be just 30 minutes. Better clock out at 8, not before. Like it's real like tedious. So that's I'm annoying. Like I can't do this no more. So what happened was I'm like, if I am going to do it, I need to get back to my dreams. So that's what I did. I got back to, I'm like, I need to make a website. My first website was actually called In the Light TV.
No light.
Yeah, it was called In the Light TV because it was kind of like, I don't want to say like yours because you know it's only one VAL, but it was kind of like reflections where I would want like people to be inspired, come on and, you know, kind of like what I'm doing now, but you know, it was.
You were by yourself then?
Yeah.
Okay, look at you. You're like, it was just me.
It was just, to be honest with
you. So
you
never waited on anybody. I just wanted let's talk about that real quick, okay? You had a vision, a dream in mind. You said, I want to do it. You did it by yourself?
Yeah, by myself.
You didn't wait on nobody, no cosign. Let me get 2 co-hosts. You were like...
So for that. I always did things by myself, though.
Oh, okay.
See, but I know the importance of it. Like, I know where you're going with it. I know the importance of it because in my head, I'm thinking, like, all right, because I was going on some online looking, I'm like, dang, this job sounds so dope, but I don't have the experience, right? So I'm like, I'm not going to get this job. Even if I apply for it, they're not going to give it to me because I have no experience, right? So I can come in like, you know, sweeping and mopping and stuff like that, but I'm like, what can I do now? You know, so I learned how to make a website. It was in I learned how to do that. I learned how to edit better, and I learned how to pretty much around this time I was with Streetlight Studios. So everything that they taught me from editing to angles to lighting, I use that for my own platform. So at this time, Light was cool. So I don't know, you ever heard of Crutch Calhoun?
Calhoun, I heard that name, but not Crutch.
Crutch Calhoun, he's an artist. Shout out to Roselle USA. He's from Roselle, and he does a lot of music with Dave East and people like that. Okay. Yeah, he just did a song with Dave East and Roselle. But anyway, he was like my third interview on In the Light TV, and I killed that interview. It was like super dope. It was like 1:00 in the morning. We was at the studio, and it was like my boy Hussein. He was directing. He was the videographer for me, and it was like 15 dudes in the studio. I was so nervous because I'm like, this is my first interview.
You must have gotten contact high.
Yeah, I was nervous. I did, but I was.
I would have been like, hey, so let me know.
It was dark. It was dark. It was dark in the studio. It was 15 dudes.
There was a cipher going on.
And I was getting tired because I was supposed to interview him at like 10, but he was going in and out and things. But that's when I really realized I can do it because it was 15 people there, all staring at me while I'm interviewing him. So I'm like, in my head, I'm like, dang, what if I don't ask good enough questions? Like, what if I leave here and they're like, yo, he was trash. Like, you just wasted your time. So all this was going on in my head. But I'm like, you know what? I'm going to just talk like I'm talking to you on the street. And I think that's the difference. I don't want to go all off subject, but I think that's the difference with me and a lot of people is
when you are talking and you are speaking in a personality, you're not in your head.
I'm not in my head. Like for an example, right? And I love my cousin. She's a beast at what she does, but she went to school for this. So she's taught like online, like radio, like news, like not radio, like news personality. Like everything's like to the T. Like me, I'm just me. Like I don't talk too proper. Like, you know what I mean? Like I'm not talking like I'm a host on E! News. You know, and
right, like we're not this presentation person voice like, oh, exactly. You're coming over here.
But that's how she is. And that's dope for her. You know what I mean? Like
she's like, I'm not knocking her.
Yeah, I'm not knocking her. She's, but we're two different people, you know what I mean? And she's going to excel at what she does, but I'm going to excel at what I do because I feel like people could relate more to people that, you know what I mean? And even when it comes to opening up, like Crutch was opening up more because I was just talking to him like we were talking before the mics came on. Have I changed up my personality? I don't know how he would have felt as comfortable as if I was just like, yo, what's up, bro? Like, talk to me, you know?
So when you left these warehouse jobs, like what kind of job did you enroll into right after? Did you just started betting on yourself and then you started doing your own stuff with the interviews, business?
Still doing warehouse.
Okay.
So I was still doing warehouse, but I made sure that the money that I got for the warehouse, I invested into this. So because I didn't want to, the thing is I work very weird. So my mind thinks very differently. I didn't want to get a job where I was going to get too comfortable. you know, because I wanted to my dreams to succeed. So I didn't want to get like a job where I'd be like, man, I'm good. I don't need my dreams no more because I'm good, you know. So I wanted that adrenaline. So I stayed in a warehouse again. I like in the warehouse. The only thing in warehouse is the money sucks sometimes depending on how long you've been in there. But I'm like, if I go in there and I put money towards my dreams, you know, anything could happen, you know. I'm good with people. I was talking to publicists. I always talk to publicists. That's how I got a lot of interviews. But I'm like, I'm talking to publicists, so, you know, I can do this. It's just a matter of how I'm going to implement what I'm doing to get paid for it. So, yeah, that's where I was at. And till this day, I'm still building my brand, right. You know. So the brand's different now. It's AnthonyJ.com, but, you know, I'm still building it. I'm still working a 9 to 5.
Right.
But, you know, I don't look at it as, my brother told me something because my brother's a longshoreman, right? So he's like, he makes so much money. So I'm like, dang, bro, like you make all this money, you know, like you're good, you know, like why you do all this extra stuff? Like, why do you, you know, but he told me that, you know, the money, he said his job just funds his lifestyle, you know, and that's how I look at it. Like the job that I have, it just funds my lifestyle. It's not my life. You know, I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, my God, I hate my job because my job helps me pay for what I love. You know what I mean? So
yeah, that's a gem.
Yeah, you know, drop gems on boom, boom. You feel me? I mean, so, yeah. So that's how that was. So I'm still at the process of building my brand.
But you're not giving up. And even how long it's been, that's how you know that this is your passion, this is your drive. You're not doing it for the spotlight or the image. Or the pride or the ego. You're doing it because of the purpose and the passion. Purpose and the passion. I love people. Now working with the warehouses and doing all this with your kids, like, is it during this journey, like, was it hard following what you were doing when you became a father? Oh my God. Or was it? It was hard. It was hard because I was a dad, right? But I was a husband too. I was a wife. I was a husband. I was not a wife. I was a husband too. So it was like, she wanted time with me, and then I had to make sure I had time with them. I'm sleepy. I'm working more than 40 hours a week. So it's like, I got to make sure I had time with them, and then I got to make sure I'm putting time for myself. So it was like balancing was my biggest issue. Sometimes I come home and be like, let me go on the computer. Let me do this, bro. After I see the kids, and it's like, with me and her, it's like, what about me? You know, like how you got to balance. And that was my biggest thing. I sucked at it. And then, so over time, you got better? Yeah, over time, I got better because I've so you had to probably sleep earlier or something like that? Yeah, had to sleep earlier. And then when I got home, I you know, said hello to my kids and played with them for a little bit. Because by the time I got home, my kids was going to sleep anyway, like pretty much. So I just made time. And then I'll do what I do for like an hour and a half, 2 hours. Because most of the time during the weekends, I'm good. I didn't work weekends, so I was like, that's why I spend my time if I'm not going out. So I would do that, and then at night I would just be with the wife unless we go out somewhere or we had a schedule plan. Then we started doing things like, you know, Fridays we'll do this. It'll be our day, you know, or Thursdays or whatever the case may be. But that's how we made time for each other. So it was very hard. Yeah, that does sound hard. Yeah, it is. In that journey, did you feel like, you know what, let me just throw this in the side, let me not continue? And that's the problem I had, actually. I was very inconsistent. So the relationships that I was building was deteriorating because people were like, I'm not messing with Ant too inconsistent. I'm not going on his site. He's too, like, you know what I mean? So that was something where I'm like, and I know a lot of people, you know what I mean? I know a lot of people, and a lot of people have my back, but I also didn't want to keep playing with people. Yeah. But they didn't. It's like people didn't understand like the pressure of like having kids and a wife and having a real job and then working more than 40 hours and then wanting to do it. And it's like, yeah. Oh, it was a lot. That sounds like a lot. I just went to your place. Yeah. It was a lot. It was a lot. But I would have been like, it's like you were walking and you found roads that were open and then it was a dead end. Right. And then you walk towards another and then another dead end. Right. It's kind of like you told yourself that they were dead ends, but it's like, no, they didn't have to be. Exactly. Because life doesn't deter. Yeah. Like you said, that life, just because life is going hard and you have bills and stuff like that and that nature, you don't have to beat yourself up for the job that you have, because that doesn't define who you are and what you do in your life.
Exactly.
Your life is what you make it. You stand up every day. You wake up, I'm ready to tackle the day. You stand up and you say, I don't feel like getting up. Now what you doing with that? Like,
exactly. But that's how your day gonna go. If you get up and say what you just said, like, oh my God, like I gotta get up, then that's how you're gonna feel the rest of the day. But if you be like, I'm gonna tackle this day, or just motivate yourself. Like me, I like to pray. I like to meditate. I like to read. I read a lot.
So
like,
that helped you get out of those times in life when
yeah,
you were going through it?
It did. It helps me. I was stressed out. Like, but there was times I didn't know I was stressed out till like my body would tell me I was stressed out.
Dang, that's
like
dangerous.
Anxiety attacks, and you know what I mean. Like I didn't know. I felt stressed, but I didn't know to the point of how stressed. You know what I mean? Because you want your kids to. You want to do what you want to do, but you also want to make sure that your family's good. And like I said, I love people, and if there's anybody that loves my family, so I wanted to make sure like, yeah, they're good. So putting in that work, you know, and then being like, they're good, but now I got to be good. Now I want to make sure that I'm doing what I need. I don't just want to work and die. Like, come on.
Word.
You
don't want to do that. And even if you do, you want to leave something for them.
Exactly.
Too. You want to make it right. You don't want to just, let me have a kid and have fun. Blah.
Exactly.
And mess their lives up along the way.
Mm-hmm.
Don't worry about that. That's Princess.
What's up, Princess?
The doggy's walking around. So now let's go back to some trauma transitions here.
Mm-hmm.
When you were going through your transitions in life, did you ever have a song or a piece of craft or an outlet that kind of filled that void, like a specific lyric from a specific artist or genre, does not matter, that helped you get through these times? Or you kind of like...
All right, so I didn't have a specific song, but I had a genre. I used to listen to gospel all the time.
Okay.
Like all the time, like Kurt Franklin, you know, I like Jay Harris, whatever his name is, the guy.
Yes,
you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, him. I liked Marvin Sapp, definitely, and Donnie McClure. These people I listen to all the time, right? So when I felt some type of way, because it wasn't just worship songs, right? It was praise songs too, you know. So I listened to worship songs, you know, just to, you know, get into
the one that everyone knows about Marvin Sapp is the "I Never Would Have Made It."
Yeah, I love that one. I love that one.
That you're saying, it's not like it's a worship song. It's like a meditation.
Right.
You know, centering.
Perfect. So, you know,
My Help is one of those songs to me. In gospel, yes, you can find a lot of healing in gospel for those who don't listen to it, because I think a lot of people outside of gospel look at it as they're talking about a religion that I don't
exactly
vibe with. But I want to those people who think that way, I want to really test you guys, like, step outside of the fact that it's a religion. It's just listen to the lyrics and tell me if the lyrics are talking about a God. I think the lyrics are talking about what we all go through: trials, tribulations, pain, and having that leave your body.
Right. For sure.
Go away. You know what I mean? Like,
that's what it's about.
You're definitely right.
Trials and tribulations. That's what.
Because there's depression mentioned, there's sadness mentioned in gospel. People think that gospel is this happy-go-lucky, always talking about God.
Oh, happy? Nah.
No.
Like, those. The thing is, like, gospel. Like, I was talking to my friend right before I got here. Right, we was on the phone. Like, people want to put gospel, and like you said, like, they feel like only Christians can listen to it. But like, good is good, evil is evil. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no such thing as Christian good, Buddhist good, Islam good, Islamic. No, I don't want to get deep on y'all, but when Eve ate the apple or the fruit, because everybody calls it apple, but they never said it was apple. But when Eve ate the fruit, and God, what did God say? He said that now you have the knowledge of good and evil. He never put a religion on there. You feel what I'm saying? Yeah. So when we listening to these songs, like, we just, instead of saying, oh, well, this is a Christian song, just get what you can get out of it. You know, listen to it, and whatever you get out of it is what you get out of it.
Yeah, message.
The message, yes, and that's why I love gospel. I love gospel.
So it helped you in those times of transitions. Definitely. And also my son Michael Jackson. Let's be real.
Mike always helped me. Mike always helped me.
Mike always helped me.
I love Mike. Yo, yeah. I really love Mike.
So give me one song that you were like, yo, this is like, this one right here from Michael has my heart, my corazón.
Human Nature.
Yeah,
that's one of my favorite Michael Jackson songs. Yeah, that's Michael, like that. And you talking about helping me or just in general? Like,
just in general. I mean,
all right, so the whole Thriller album, let's just put that out there. So the whole Thriller, from Billie Jean to Human Nature to The Girl Is Mine, you know.
But to helping you would just say Human Nature.
Yeah, Human Nature.
Really? Not The Man in the Mirror?
Nah, The Man in the Mirror was dope. It was I love that song. It was very inspirational. It was definitely inspirational. But the thing is, like, I sometimes helping me was just letting me listen to songs that made me feel good, you know, because it would get me out of that depressed or stressed feel. So sometimes I just listen to music that had nothing to do with like how I felt, or but just made me bop or made me dance or made me, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's Earth, Wind and Fire for me.
Earth, Wind and Fire is dope.
Yeah, it's like if I listen to an Earth, Wind and Fire,
so you're Earth, Wind and Fire
or
fan.
any of the 80s, like I'm a fan of anything old school, really. Anything about that nature, Natalie, like this will be, you know, that makes dope. Me happy. Like, I don't know, like I always think of like all the movie ending credits.
Exactly, right? Brings you all the way back to, for real.
So like I'd be mad and then I'll listen to that and I'm like, oh, I don't even know what I was mad about.
Exactly. But that's something how the 80s and like, you know, the 70s, how those songs made people feel. Like,
yeah, what about our songs now? Like, how do they make us feel? I feel like they just making us want to do vulgar.
Yeah, they do.
Horrible stuff.
They do.
Okay,
for
like
sure.
steal on the rack.
Yeah, it make you want to fight somebody. It make you more mad. Like, if I listen to music, like if I listen to Pop Smoke and I'm mad, it's gonna make me want to beat somebody up. It's gonna make me more mad.
Yeah,
you know, like he dope. You know, like, you know, Pop. Rest in peace to Pop. But at the same time, it's like the songs now don't make people feel the way they felt when they was in like the 80s.
I agree. 70s. And if they do, it's like an old school, new school brother, like Bruno Mars or Anderson .Paak or Masiego or somebody
like
that.
Or like a J. Cole.
Or J. Cole, yeah.
People like that who got positive messages.
But why does it have to be so rare? You know what I mean? Like, can y'all be interested in other than hoe and drugs and sex and money?
People... I don't know.
Even R&B is like so centered on it. Like,
would you even call it R&B now? Like,
what would you call it?
I don't know, like, but not R&B. Yeah, like it's weird. Like R&B, I'm used to like Carl Thomas, and Joe, and you know, like 112. Like, this is R&B. You know, like now it's just like they're like singing, rapping, like rapping and singing at the same time. Like, I mean, you still got Chris Brown.
Yeah.
Don't say nothing bad about Chris Brown.
I'm not gonna say nothing bad about Chris Brown. You don't like Chris Brown? I don't mind Chris Brown, actually. I think he's good. I think he's talented. I just have this whole debate where people think that he would have been just as great as Michael Jackson. And
I feel you.
And I'm like, I feel you, but that's a big pedestal. You know what I mean? Like,
they should just leave Mike alone. I don't think it'll ever be. They should just leave him alone. Like,
there's just always this big thing. Like, I had 3 artists come on here and just talk him up. Like, yo, I don't care what you say, man. Chris Brown would have been the next Michael Jackson, king of pop. I don't care. Sign on it. I'm like,
nah,
relax.
He's great. He's
like,
great,
he's good.
But Mike was just another level.
Right.
Like, Mike, no artist can emotionally make somebody feel the way Mike made people feel. You know, you watch it, you know, VH1. I watched all his concerts growing up, and every single one, there were people after the concerts, before they were like fainting and crying, and just they act like he was a god.
Yeah.
Chris Brown. I went to a Chris Brown concert. You don't feel like that at a Chris Brown concert. You just feel like he put a heck of a performance on, and that's it. But there's no emotional attachment. Like, oh my god, like this guy is unreal. Mike made people feel like that.
Michael did. I think it came from a lot of his upbringing.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And his pain and everything. It was just all put out on all of the music. As soon as Off the Wall came out.
Off the Wall was a problem.
Okay.
Off the Wall was a problem.
Came out, he was like, this is my new name.
This is me.
This is
you know what I'm saying? Mike Swag went completely. He turned... Off the Wall came out, then he was on Motown 25.
Right, he was on this whole other level, and I was like, go ahead. I am not mad, Michael.
I actually became a Michael Jackson fan watching the movie. That's when I first became Jackson 5 and American Dream. That's when I first became a Michael Jackson fan. Like after I watched, because my mom I told you, she used to make me watch movies like that, like The Wiz, 5 Heartbeats, all those movies.
Of course, they're cultured.
Yeah,
like, you have to.
But when I was younger, I didn't know he was real. Like I didn't know. Like I thought the movie was just a movie, but I love the movie. So my mom was like, "No, Michael's real." So then that's when I started like buying his music, buying everything. I stole a Michael Jackson CD one time.
Oh wow!
It was Kmart at that time.
We actually had the vinyl of Thriller.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
my
mom
classic.
sold it. I was so pissed because we had that in the bag, like in the basement, and me and my brother and my sister wanted to keep it, and we were like, "Oh my god, we're gonna store it in our box." And then my mom,
she threw it away. She sold it. She sold it. Yeah.
I was like, "Why would you do that?"
Yeah, not Mike.
It's a Michael Jackson antique. Like, what are you doing?
You gotta keep it.
Like, I probably would have made so much money on that right now, but who knows at this point?
You probably would have.
Who knows?
But then again, yeah, I don't know. Who knows?
Does your going towards your vision and everything that you have going on with music, and Anthony interviews a lot of artists and crafts. So with your show and not that podcast, what do you have future planned for what's to come? Like, what is your purpose at the end goal of everything that you're doing and that you've been working on all these years? Like, what keeps you going and why you want to
relationship?
Yeah,
so let me explain. So like I said, I'm big on people, right? And I feel like I've always, no matter what it is, whether you're family, whoever you are, I like seeing people succeed. More than, it's weird, I'm not gonna say more than myself, but I get like joy seeing people succeed. So the fact that I can build relationships, be the one to, all right, yeah, I interviewed this person, but like obviously, so I talk to people a lot before I interview them, right? And then we have like a 30-minute, like I get there around 6:30, so they usually get there around the same time, and then we have that time to bond, right? And then we just start a relationship. But these are people who I have faith in that's going to go somewhere and become great. So my thing out of all this is just to be part of their legacy. You know what I'm saying? While having my own. I want to be able to have great conversations with people to a point where, all right, yeah, the first time you come, people are trying to get to know you.
Right.
The next time you come, it's more so like, what are you doing? Like, how's Hollywood, or how's, this and that, and just building relationships. Shout out to my co-host too, John Brown. He's pretty dope. He's funny. So,
John Brown, okay. Shout him out. That's what's up.
Yeah.
So that's your whole purpose of the whole thing.
Yeah. So to relate, I love relationships. That's the purpose of the podcast.
Right. So your end goal for it, for you doing what you're doing, is,
when you say angle,
like your aspirations and how big you see it to be. Like what is your goal?
Super big. I see now, you talking about my website, or are you talking about the podcast, or both?
We're talking about you.
Oh, just
like,
me.
Just you in general. Like, where do you see you in the next 5 to 10 years?
I see me being very big, right?
Okay.
Honestly, I see me being like a Nick Cannon. Dead serious.
Okay.
Because I love, like I said.
So you'll see yourself hosting shows. I see myself doing my podcast. Red carpet?
I've done red carpets, movie premieres. Yeah. But I see myself doing that if the world opens up ever again. But I do see myself doing that, and I see myself just being a voice for the culture. Like, I want to be a positive voice for the culture. Like, I want people to be like, Ant has to hear this story, or let's see what Ant thinks about it. Like. That's what I want. That's the grand scheme of things.
We want it to be.
Yep.
And I see it to be that, because you have this positive light.
Oh, appreciate it.
No, it's true. Like, because I interviewed a lot of people, and you don't seem like you're too eager to deliver this or too egotistical. You seem like this is about it. Yeah. And it's all about the stories and all these people that come in, and this is what I want, and this is what I'm looking for.
For sure.
So you could definitely tell that there's passion. Thank you for coming on. I appreciate it.
Listen, thank you for having me. You're dope. I'm going to have you come on Not That Podcast.
Actually, before we close, though, you're going to have me on that podcast. But I wanted to ask you, like, is there any advice that you were to tell anybody that's going through went through what you went through, or
don't
maybe
give up.
It's fatherhood? Just picked it up.
Father, I'm gonna need a whole nother segment for fatherhood. But nah, The advice I give people is just don't give up. Like, no matter how hard it may get, you got to keep pushing. Like, you got to keep pushing. Like, and consistency is key. Like, if you keep doing it and, you know, you're going to eventually see progress. But you got to keep doing it. You can't stop. Stopping and going just going to cause you to people to stop messing with you and calling you names behind your back and all type of stuff. So be consistent and don't be afraid and just give it your all. And like you said earlier, you don't wait for nobody. You know, start it yourself. Start your podcast. Start your website, you know, your clothing brand, whatever. Just start it. And then, that's, you know. That's
about it. No, thank you for dropping gems. And, where can they find you?
You can find me on Instagram. It's anthonyj.com. Oh, it's Anthony J. It's Anthony J. I'm bugging. You can find my website. It's anthonyj.com. Then I got the podcast. You can hit that up on at Not That Podcast. I'm on YouTube, Anthony J TV1. Well, you can just everything just going. It's anthonyj.com. You see everything. That's
you guys
really
better support and follow because he's a genuine person and he interviews artist to artist or singer to singer, craft to craft, whatever. You're gonna see it there too.
I'm gonna see her soon too on Not That
yes,
Podcast.
You will.
It's gonna be a little different. You know what I mean? Like
because I'll be the one to be like,
we turning up.
I'm so excited. But yes, catch us here. This is Reflections with Val. Instagram, SoundCloud, Spotify, and then Sophly_Val on Instagram. Thank you so much. Bye.
Peace.